They don't use that. They just go, they're just, oh yeah, you know, I'm just special and like unique and, you know.
I express myself. My identity is about expressing myself. I need to express myself. I need to be happy and express myself.
So yeah, it's like no wonder you're not gonna hear like things of value from them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
very, very rarely.
But I literally love how Lovefriend said, like, oh yeah, they just don't have critical thinking skills. Like it's just like a fact. Like people just, oh, you didn't know? Like it's like over coffee, having a latte. Oh, you didn't know queer people don't lack critical thinking skills? You didn't know that? Like they just don't.
Lovefriend sounds like me, like you know, like knows about the gay village, like knows people there, but doesn't is not like involved with any of that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But unfortunately, is forced to be associated with them.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, we had an in-depth conversation about YouTubers as well, and yeah, YouTubers and how the content is really just a business, and every single time they put out a video, it's just a business for them.
Oh yeah, of course. It's all like, you know, plans, like, you know.
Oh yeah, we talked about Steph Sajanti, or what is it?
Yes, what?
No, I said Steph Sajanti or whatever. What's that?
Oh yeah, Steph Sanjati.
Yeah, and we were joking about how their latest HRT video is like them talking about themselves, almost like they're becoming more mentally unbalanced because they need the validation that they are a trans woman, that they are a woman. That, you know, like talking about, oh my god, I went to the store, and apparently even if you look like this, you still get misgendered. And it's like, in my head, I'm like you're getting misgendered because you look like a drag queen. Let's be real for a second. That's why you get misgendered, and not even that. You convince other trans people that the way to be trans is to be pretty. If you are pretty, then you are a valid trans person.
Right. Well, it's another Gigi Gorgeous.
And it's like fucked up. It's like, honestly, it's just like, I'm amazed that the 519 and all these other people, they glorify that kind of education. I just think it's really despicable, honestly.
It's like mentality. It's not even education.
Oh yeah, it's not even education. Oh, it's art. It's art. I'm not
expressing myself. I'm creative.
I teach people how to express themselves. I'm like, last time I checked, people had opposable thumbs. They are able to express themselves. We have opposable thumbs, right? Did I miss a memo? I'm sorry. I didn't know that human beings were not able to express themselves, so they need to watch.
I'm pretty sure, you know,
trans women.
I'm pretty sure if Albert Einstein just made makeup tutorials instead of, you know, physical theorems, like, you know, no one would give a shit who he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, E equals MC squared, that is a expression for someone like Albert Einstein, you know what I mean? Have we ever thought about that?
Oh yeah.
No.
And we were joking about Tyler Oakley and how it's like they only really meet one demographic. And right, it's like the cis gay boy person.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if any other demographic is interested in Tyler Oakley, they're just jerking off to them.
And then the contents are all about, like, you know, jokes about anal sex, jokes about, like, you know, Grindr, you know, jokes about, like, basically it's
all
like jokes
sexual.
that like
It's all sexual.
It's jokes that make like you know, unattractive gay people feel really really shitty about themselves. That's what it is.
And I love how everyone is meant to aspire to be them. You need to aspire to be Tyler Oakley and write a novel before you're 25 years old about yourself and your life. And yourself. Yeah, exactly. It's like we're all please aspire to be someone that talks about yourself all the time, and that's it. And I love Gigi Gorgeous. And this is Gigi Gorgeous. This is Gigi Gorgeous. This is like quote unquote. I'm only going to talk about me because I can only speak based on lived experience, and I'm only really allowed to talk about me. So that's why I only talk about me.
It's like saying I can only talk about how eggs taste because I've like eaten eggs. You know what I mean? Like I don't get the point. Like, what are they trying to say? It's like it's like okay. It's like, oh, I'm gonna talk about how you know, I'm gonna talk about how flowers taste, but I've never eaten flowers. I'm gonna talk about how they taste. You know, no one would ever say that. You know what I mean?
It's because like, let's just be real. You've never really dove into any specific concept deep enough to relate with it, other than your own personal lived experience. Like,
right?
Like, you've never even fucking taken the time to dive into a topic.
I'm pretty sure, you know, most like significant people in history, you know, they weren't talking about themselves. They discovered something, or they created something, or they like did something, and that's sort of what they're known for. They weren't known for, like, you know, talking about how, you know, they had like an orgy the other night. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't. They weren't known. You know what it is?
It's like ego. It's like an ego. Like on cocaine.
Right.
Like, you're convincing all these young people that you need to grow up and be obsessed with yourself.
Right.
And the irony is that they don't even sexualize themselves. Like,
right.
And to me, that's like the first thing you need to do, is to be able to sexualize yourself. But they don't. No, it's like they just see themselves as this like disgusting, like fleshy object that's only supposed to talk about themselves, only supposed to live for themselves, always just about themselves. And
it's like I saw I was in the store earlier and I saw a magazine. It's basically about like yoga for curvy women, and I'm like, you know, there's a bit of a paradox going on here. You know, it's like, oh, like, no, there's no like fitness aspect to this. It's like, no, it's like, you do whatever you want to do, like be big, eat as much as you want, but like this magazine is just going to show you how to get into these poses so you can take Instagram photos. You know what I mean? It's like, what, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like those makeup tutorials. It's like, well, you know, I'm gonna like teach you how to contour, because like my face is in the shape of an orange.
Yeah.
And because I can't like, you know, I have like dieting issues, aka overeating. So yeah, let me just show you how to put on like 20 pounds of makeup so you can look like you have, you know, you weigh 5 pounds less. You know what I mean? Like.
And then like put out an Instagram post that like validates and justifies that stupid behavior.
But yeah, literally, it's like, well,
Hi everyone, I am off to see Dr. Carrie's Mozzarella. I haven't seen her in a while. If you don't know, she's my doctor. One of the only transgender doctors in Canada. I have good days when I don't need to wear makeup, or I don't feel like I need to wear makeup, and I still feel like myself. Good morning, Sean. I'm sure Sean or someone on FS is watching the Nestcam. Yeah. I don't know whether or not I'm going to film my actual appointment. I just don't feel like maybe it's appropriate. But we'll see what happens. Just saw Vicarious Mozzarella. They increased my castration pills. Yeah, they doubled it, as I anticipated. So.
And what was the discussion about?
Oh yeah, it was like we covered so many different topics, like all from the physical changes to trans politics. I talked about a lot of things, and no, I didn't want to do that. It was very quick, and at the same time, Dr. Carey's made a joke about, oh well, I'll probably see you at Cruise and Tango next week, or something like that.
That's funny.
As we were talking about how, isn't it great how there's so many more people, visible trans people in the village now, and how things are changing.
Did you discuss relationship things?
A little bit, I sort of mentioned.
And what did the doctor have to say?
She said it's great, and she talked a lot about how there's a reason why she hangs out with more of our generation than, her generation. Because, our generation is quite, for us, on many levels, it just doesn't matter,
Right.
I'm trying to drive back now. If I know how to get back.
Yeah, I just have a break now.
Oh, okay. That's good. It's just funny because, Dr. Carey's and we were joking also about how much our society has progressed in just 6 months from, the past 6 months.
I am.
So, yeah, it's progress nonetheless, right? So yeah, I'm gonna be on. I'm on 4 milligrams of estrogen and 200 milligrams of spirulactone of anti-androgen.
So you went down in estrogen?
No, I was always on 4 milligrams.
Oh, okay.
I just said that maybe I'm not ready to do 6 milligrams. I see. If I do 6 milligrams, I'm essentially am I ready to become? I don't think I want to be a curvy woman. I don't know, but not that I think that's gonna happen.
It's all about what you want.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe.
What else? You said you have a lot to talk with me. You have something to talk with me about. So what is it?
I feel like it was in regards to. Oh yeah, I just turned off the camera. Hold on. Ever talk about what is it? It's post-op trans women, yeah. Post-op trans women. What do you have to offer then? You know, like,
I
oh,
feel
you're
like-
just like any other woman then.
I feel like post-op trans women, you know, that was some, I don't know, I feel like the only sort of deal they have is for like lesbians, and that's it, you know, like for straight men, it's like, well, I might as just go after some biological woman, you know what I mean? And that's sad, I think, but, you know, that's sort of the dynamic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because at least with the pre-op, you know, there's that, there's the, what's the word? The blend, you know, the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm the one that's removing my gender, and I'm, whatever reason, indulging in this. Honestly, like, if I had everything removed, I don't know whether or not things would be the same. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I would be a different kind of object.
Right. Well, the way I sort of see it is, you know, you don't want to keep, you know, you don't want to keep something just because someone likes it, you know what I mean? Because then it's just the same thing as when you were gay, Adrian. You know, you did this a certain way or that a certain way because, you know, Andrew liked it or Brian liked it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you really want to remove your gender, then I say go for it. I feel like, you know, someone will always be there to come along and respect that, you know what I mean? And you can still technically have sex, you know what I mean? It's not like just because you have no genitals or gender means you can't have sex.
Yeah, but what if at that point I'm not taking estrogen anymore, and I don't even crave intimacy? At this point, I'm like, why are you even touching me? Why is this happening?
You become like a vegetable.
I mean, essentially, that is what an alien is it not? Like, the concept of an alien. You know, obviously, I have not thought about this deep enough, and we will get back to you on this uncomfortable conversation.
Just because, you know, you could want one thing, but it doesn't mean you want it forever, you know what I mean? Maybe it's like you wanted sort of what's happening right now, just so you could say, like, you know, it's there, it's possible, you know what I mean? I'm not like a screw up or something.
Yeah.
And then later on, you just go through with whatever you wanted to go through with, right? I think that's the transition, right?
Yeah. That cough was disgusting. Sorry. I guess, like, I don't know whether or not what we're talking about is going to happen anytime soon. I think is really more of the question.
You still have time.
You and I have more than enough time. We have fucking like another 100 years of our life. Remember. Like, let's just be real for a second. Like,
but you know, it's very much the sort of like, you know, there will be a day where, you know, your evolution will be complete, you know, like.
It sounds like Transformers or something.
Like you'll come out as like the first genderless, you know, human, and then you'll upgrade and become post-human. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm thinking about what you're saying. It's just I'm trying to process it. Ugh, yeah.
Wu is the first genderless person, you know, in existence. You know, like some.
A biological gender, no, but
Yeah.
David, there are a lot of, well, that's a whole other conversation. what's happening with James, but maybe that is a possibility that they like it because it's more of a what if I could be like that? What if I could be a freak and someone still like me?
Right.
And that's why I really do think it's funny when you joke about...
It's like, what if I can be a freak and have someone, like, finger me in public, you know? Like, so...
That's so funny. No, but seriously, a valid point, though, is that, like... What if you are right, David, that your gender and your sexuality are really just determined by how much you hate yourself? And that gender and sexuality are exactly the same thing, on the basis that... I mean, I can't remember what your point was. What was it again?
About what?
How gender and sexuality could actually be the same thing.
Oh, I think it comes down to, like, what's it called? Sort of how... No, it's like how you want to, like, express yourself.
Oh, yeah, it's like a question of...
It's like how much you're willing to, like, fetishize yourself is, like, your sexuality.
Exactly. Like, again, it really does go back to, like, to what extent do you sexualize yourself?
Yeah.
And how much confidence you have to be confident in what you yourself are also attracted to.
Exactly.
It's actually an interesting point. I mean, it's extremely controversial and one could say offensive that one would imply that gender and sexuality are the same, but I mean, it's true though. How often can we admit that?
I don't think they're this exactly the same, but they overlap when people think they don't overlap at all.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
How often do people just admit, like, oh, I'm not attracted to women because I don't have the confidence to hit on a woman, right?
Or it's like I'm attracted to men because, you know, I have these huge breasts and, like, I just like it when men, you know, touch them. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, or you know, my gender is determined by how ugly I think I look.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'm asexual because I think I'm just absolutely, like, hideous, you know.
That's so awful. This is like this is real transphobic shit we're saying right now. And that's not even transphobic. It's human phobic. It's like humanist phobic, like offensive shit.
Exactly. Anti-culture, anti-human. Yeah.
I think it's so funny.
Yeah, it is.
It's so true though. No one's gonna fucking admit that. Like, I could never be a hot guy, so I'm transitioning. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You know.
Like, oh, I could never be a hot girl, so I'm transitioning.
Exactly.
And then we have to pull out all these identity politics shit, and it complicates the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's, well, you know, the whole, like, Gigi Gorgeous, like, oh, I'm a lesbian, like, whatever, if it's a publicity stunt or not, I don't know, but, like, you know.
What?
It's like you can see why everyone is sort of, like, skeptical, right? It's like I said, because Gigi is like, oh, this huge breasts, huge everything, long blonde hair, and then, you know, for her to be like, oh no, I'm into, like, you know, butchy looking women, it's like, oh, okay. And then next thing you know, she's gonna have a fetish for, like, trans men, you know what I mean? Like, I'm serious.
That's so
It's like, oh, my girlfriend's actually coming out as trans, so I guess I'm straight now, you know? I was never gay, you guys. I was never a lesbian. Sorry for the confusion, you know.
Sorry for the confusion, but I'm putting out another coming out video, you know, where I'll make a couple $100, you know.
Oh, it's like, oh, I'm actually going back to cis. Yeah, it's, I liked it while I was, like, in my 20s, but I'm, like, you know, almost 40, and it's not, you know, it's not working out for me anymore. So I'm just going back to being, like, a dumpy old man by, you know, I'll just sell perfumes, you know, for the rest of my life. Hey, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Bye. I'm going back to, I'm not Gigi Gorgeous anymore. I'm like Gregory Grumpy. I don't know, like, I'm balding. I have like a pot belly, you know. I just can't, you know. Like, it's like, when I started transitioning, no one told me that, you actually, like, start aging and things start to sag. Like I'm imagine her voice, so she's like, so I'm making this video because, yeah, everything is starting to sag, and, like, all of the Botox is just, you know, starting to, like, not work. So I'm just thinking about, like, going back to being a man. Yeah, sorry guys, I know, it's so sad. It's like when I gave up my dogs, you know, no one told me I actually had to, like, feed them and, like, take care of them, you know, like, yeah, so, you know.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I just threw out so much shade. So much shade.
No, I'm just thinking about how, like, you know, people just, like we joked around the other night, like, everyone just comes out as cis at the end of the day, you know, like, at the end.
Right. At the very end. On their deathbed, you know, like.
At the end of the post-human era, we all come out and realize, oh, being queer was actually never a thing.
Yeah, it was just a phase, you know.
All of it was just a phase to justify just being different.
Because we were angry at our parents, you know, like.
Yeah, a queer movement was just in spite of pissing off tradition. Like, that's it. It's so true, you know. We're bringing up some very valid points here. Like, essentially, everyone identifies as these bullshit things to justify their actions.
Pretty much.
And no one wants to be told that we are defined by our actions or the sum of our experiences.
Right.
And no one wants to hold accountability for our actions. Because of that, then we're like, okay, well, I have an identity and this is who I am, and my identity exists. It's just us trying to rationalize our irrational and rational behavior.
My identity exists as an abstract concept that, you know, like, you can't, like, argue with, you know. It's like, it's there, it exists, you can't argue with it by, you know, like.
Yeah, but it tends to be, like, insecure. You know,
sorry?
Insecure, self-defining anarchists and feminists that say shit like that.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said, I'm just waiting for, like, you know, the day they prove that, like, you know, what the chemical reaction is for us all. They prove that all of this stuff is, like, doesn't actually mean anything,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
All of this is just you trying to play a video game, essentially.
Or you trying to, like, you know, justify your existence so you can make money off of it, you know, so you can eat, you know what I mean? Like, we don't think about that as well, like, how people have to, like, put up a front for who they are constantly, because really it's just so they can, like, you know, live in a house somewhere, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, one of the best things that James said to me the other night was like, you know, like, you can do the things you do also because of how you look. And I said, what do you mean? So, like, you look young, and you know, you're someone that can look like you're either 16 or 30. And I'm like,
Right.
you know, and I acknowledge that I'm on the path of becoming an old man or whatever. And that's what it is. Like, we talked about this. Our generation is going through this, like, apocalypse of realizing that we might live for a very long time as, like, sagging, wrinkly, like, sagging, wrinkly, rich people, like,
Unhealthy, yeah.
or poor people, or whatever. It's
Yeah, not just looking old, but feeling old.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
exactly. It's not even about, you can't even escape feeling old because time exists.
You know, like
At least,
having constant back pain, you know, or something like that, you know? But it'll just be interesting to see, like, you know, the people of today, like, you know, like, what they will how they'll sort of behave, like, once they have, like, you know, Alzheimer's or something.
Hey guys, I'm making this video because I might not remember who I am tomorrow.
It's like, what's that movie, with what's her name, Julianne Moore,
Alice.
Still Alice, you know, but like a makeup tutorial version of that. So it's like, so in this tutorial, I'm gonna teach you a way to not forget, like, how to put on eyeshadow. So when your Alzheimer's sets in, you know, sometimes you might start smudging. So I'll teach you some tricks so you can still do your eyes will still look like on fleek, even though you just don't remember who your family is anymore.
So funny.
So let's begin, guys. You know, that's how I think people are gonna cope with that, you know.
People are already
no honor.
that. Oh yeah, how many people have we? Like the saddest Facebook statuses I read are, don't I look so young in this photo? Or like something like, really, you think I look like I'm 24? I thought I looked like I'm 16. Or not even that. Like, I'm such a fresh twink in this photo. Like, it's just like, stop trying to validate that you look young because you don't look young. Like.
Okay. Yeah, fresh.
Yeah, just keep telling yourself that.
Out of the dumpster. Fresh into the landfill.
Fresh into community housing, you know.
Fresh into their retirement home, you know.
Retirement home, yeah. It's, you know, it's.
But yeah, you are right. There will be this sort of huge crisis where people can't, like, accept their aging, you know.
A lot of people you and I know are already facing it. I mean, essentially, I realize that when I go to the village now, I don't bump into people I know because they're all afraid of leaving their house.
Right.
Like, I've seen a lot of, like, people. A lot of people you and I know growing up, they're all really, like, fat and smelly. It's not even hairy. It's smelly.
That's bad.
And they just don't have the confidence to go out anymore.
That's the secret. The village will never tell you. It's like, oh, we're the older people. No, they're just hiding at home because they're too ashamed to go out.
Yeah, they're too Billy. So they need to go on Grindr and find or Tinder or whatever to find a young person to validate their attractiveness or whatever.
To validate, yeah. Well, at least they have the money for that sometimes.
Yeah.
Are you at home or are you?
I'm driving right now.
Still?
It's like an hour drive. You know, you realize that, right?
Yeah, but I've been talking to you for like an hour.
Have we? Yeah, I guess.
Almost an hour. Oh my god. Be thinner. You be you. You're beautiful the way you are, but I'm gonna try to look thinner. I'm gonna try to look sexier. I'm gonna try to look prettier. But no. Makeup is not used to make yourself attractive. Makeup is used to express yourself and make you feel sexy. Do you understand the the cognitive dissonance? Yeah?
And the hypocrisy. Yeah.
Hypocrisy, the cognitive dissonance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like honestly, it's like you and I joke about this. It's like when trans people say like, well, you know, gender is a social construct and you know, sexuality is a social construct, but I need to have breast surgery or I'm not a real woman. I need to have long hair. I'm not a real woman. You know, they'll say the same thing in the same sentence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like gender's a social construct, you know, it's all a social construct, but I'm not really a woman unless I'm like on estrogen and like, you know, I cut my dick off and everything, you know what I mean? So.
And like we said before, and that's exactly why there's like sort of a not a war, but definitely a difference between gender non-conforming people and those that are trans. Yeah.
Even gender non-conforming, it's like this huge, like there are articles about like, you know, people who are non-binary, supposedly, but they still, like, it's like, oh, I'm a non-binary boy, so what does that really mean? It's like,
who the fuck calls himself a non-binary boy? That doesn't even fucking make sense.
And they'll use he pronouns or
that
she pronouns.
That doesn't even fucking make sense. If you're calling yourself a boy and non-binary, or a girl, that does not
honestly
make sense.
look up these articles, look them up. They're all about these
fucking does not make any sense.
I don't know. Look it up, because again, you know what you and I think of as non-binary and what other people think of as non-binary is not the same thing. Everyone who thinks of non-binary means like, you know, you wear like, you know, a skirt or like, you know, you wear like a skirt with like work boots, you know what I mean?
With that neon lipstick, yeah.
Exactly.
And that's non-binary.
And like turquoise hair, you know.